Chosen One. That title sounds sweet, doesn't it? Everyone wants to wear the crown, but no one wants to feel the weight that comes with it. You're not chosen for comfort. You're chosen for collision. And tomorrow, danger isn't knocking, it's breaking the door down. You can smell it in the air, that sharp taste of chaos before the storm. The question isn't whether danger is coming. It's whether you're ready to meet it. Because being chosen doesn't mean you're safe. It means you've been marked for the fight others couldn't survive. Being chosen is not a prize. It's a burden wrapped in glory. People love the sound of the word, the way it makes them feel special, the way it sets them apart. But they never stop to realize that chosen means separated, cut off, marked, exposed. It's not about comfort, it's about responsibility. When you're chosen, the weight on your shoulders isn't imaginary. It's real, pressing, crushing at times. And most people don't want that weight. They just want the applause that comes with the title. But the truth is, the applause always fades, and the weight never does. Others get to live casually, drifting through life without purpose, without expectation. But not you. The chosen don't get the luxury of blending in. You can try, but the fire inside you will always burn too loud, too bright. You'll stand out even when you want to disappear. That's the cost of being chosen. You can't escape it. You've been separated for something greater, and greatness demands a price. The price is sleepless nights, loneliness, pain, rejection, and battles that would crush anyone else. You carry them not because you asked to, but because you were marked to. And here's the cruel part: being chosen doesn't mean being protected from storms. It means being placed in storms that others wouldn't survive. Danger hunts you not because you're weak, but because you're strong. Darkness doesn't chase the empty, it chases the full. If you feel hunted, if you feel like life is always pressing you harder than everyone else, it's not because you're cursed. It's because you're chosen, and danger knows it. That's why it's after you. Most people look at the chosen with envy. They see the blessing, the calling, the victories, the moments of breakthrough. They don't see the scars beneath the smile. They don't see the cost behind the crown. They don't know what it takes to carry weight that no one else can see. Being chosen means being misunderstood, being criticized, being doubted by the very people you're trying to help. They call you crazy. They call you obsessed. They call you too much, too intense. And yet, you keep moving because the weight inside won't let you quit. There's a reason not everyone is chosen. Most wouldn't survive it. They wouldn't last a day carrying what you carry. They want the glory without the grind, the victory without the war, the destiny without the danger. But life doesn't give out crowns like candy. They're forged in fire, molded through suffering, shaped by battles that threaten to destroy you. That's the irony. Only those who are almost destroyed are strong enough to hold what's coming. That's what it means to be chosen. And maybe you've asked yourself why. Why me? Why this weight? Why these battles? Why this pain? The answer isn't because you're weak. It's because you're strong enough to bear what others cannot. You were marked not for ease, but for endurance. You were chosen not for the applause, but for the assignment. And the assignment always costs. People who live ordinary lives will never understand it, because they were never designed for it. They'll laugh at you, doubt you, leave you, betray you. And still, you'll keep walking, because something inside you refuses to let go. That's the mark of the chosen. It doesn't matter who leaves, who doubts, who betrays. The fire doesn't die, but with that fire comes pressure. Constant, crushing pressure. Days when you want to throw it all away. Nights when the weight feels unbearable. Moments when you wonder if it would have been easier to just be ordinary. And maybe it would have been easier. But easier never leaves a mark on the world. Easier never breaks chains, never changes destinies, never shifts history. Only the chosen carry that kind of power. And power is always heavy. You'll never fit in because you weren't meant to. You'll never find rest in comfort because comfort was never designed for you. You were chosen for something greater, and that greater thing requires sacrifice. It requires courage. It requires a spine that doesn't break, even when everything inside you wants to collapse. Others can sit back, waste their time, laugh their lives away. You don't get that choice. You were born with weight. And that weight is proof that you've been set apart. It's not punishment, it's purpose. You carry what they can't because you're chosen. Danger is the clearest sign that destiny is real. People think danger shows up to destroy you. But what if it only appears to confirm you? Look around. Those who live empty lives, drifting without meaning, rarely face the storms you face. They move quietly, unnoticed, untouched, because nothing about them threatens the order of things. But you, the moment you were marked, the moment destiny placed its hand on you, you became a target. Danger doesn't waste its time chasing those who have nothing to give. It comes for the ones carrying something worth stealing, something worth breaking. If you feel hunted, it's not proof of weakness, it's proof that you carry weight. Every time danger shows up, it's a signal that something important is near. It doesn't arrive randomly, it arrives strategically, right before a breakthrough, right before the shift, right before the reward. It comes to test whether you're worthy of holding what's coming. It doesn't just attack your body, it attacks your faith, your focus, your discipline, your patience. It wants to see if you'll run when the pressure rises, or if you'll stand and face it. And if you stand, danger folds. It has no power against endurance. But if you crumble, if you surrender, if you give in, then you confirm to yourself that you weren't ready for what was waiting. That's the secret. Danger isn't just a threat, it's a mirror. Most people pray for safety, but safety is the death of growth. Safety keeps you small, keeps you soft, keeps you unprepared. Danger, on the other hand, sharpens you. It takes away the illusion of control. It strips the masks off. It forces you to see what's real. It pushes you to dig deeper, to fight harder, to awaken strength you never knew you had. The things you feared the most, the threats that seemed impossible to overcome. Those are the very battles that carve you into the person destiny requires. Without danger, there is no rise, no transformation, no proof that you were chosen. People confuse ease with blessing. They think if everything is smooth, they must be on the right path. But smooth roads don't lead to great destinations. They lead to nowhere. It's the rough roads, the broken roads, the ones filled with danger, that lead to purpose. And isn't it strange that danger always seems to find you when you're on the edge of something bigger? Right when you're about to step into new territory, a storm breaks loose. Right when you're about to claim what's yours, the enemy tries to snatch it. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. If it wasn't valuable, no one would try to stop you. Danger is like a shadow. It doesn't appear unless there's light. The brighter your calling, the darker the shadow. The closer you are to destiny, the heavier the attacks. And yet, most people misread this. They think the danger means they're failing, when in reality it means they're closer than ever. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't advancing. The storm doesn't rage where nothing is growing. So when danger knocks, it's not a signal to run. It's a signal to brace yourself, because something worth fighting for is right in front of you. And here's the twist. Danger will always look bigger than it is. It feeds on fear. It swells in your imagination. It convinces you that you're weaker than you really are. But when you confront it, you realize it was never as strong as it seemed. It's loud, yes, but volume doesn't equal power. It tries to paralyze you before you even step forward, because it knows if you do step forward, you'll win. That's why danger comes first, to scare you off before you discover what's already inside you. So every threat, every storm, every night of chaos is secretly proof that you're carrying something great. If you weren't, life would let you drift in silence. But the fact that danger seeks you, the fact that it keeps showing up, means you've been marked. You don't fight because you're cursed. You fight because you're crowned. And crowns are always heavy, always hunted, always tested. Danger doesn't come to crush you. It comes to reveal you. It proves your destiny is real, and that's why it never leaves you alone. Tomorrow doesn't care if you're ready or not. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't knock politely. It just arrives. And when it does, it drags danger with it, like an uninvited guest crashing your carefully arranged plans. That's the test. What you do today will either arm you or strip you naked when tomorrow shows up. People like to believe they'll rise to the occasion, that when danger comes, some hidden strength will magically awaken. But that's a lie they tell themselves to feel safe. The truth is simple. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your preparation. Today is the forge. Today is the training ground. Every small choice, every discipline, every sacrifice is a brick in the armor you'll wear tomorrow. And if you waste today, if you drown it in distraction, smother it in excuses, bury it under laziness, then tomorrow exposes you. Danger doesn't wait for you to get ready. It arrives to test if you already are. And if you aren't, it devours you without mercy. That's why so many people crumble under pressure. They didn't lose in the moment. They lost in the preparation. They thought they could cheat the process, skip the grind, and still collect the prize. But destiny doesn't work like that. The cruel thing about preparation is that it feels boring compared to the rush of tomorrow. Training feels dull. Sacrifice feels pointless. The work feels invisible. No applause, no spotlight, no recognition. Just repetition. Just discipline. Just building in the dark while the world laughs. That's why most people give up before tomorrow even comes. They can't stand the silence of preparation. They crave excitement, so they waste their time chasing thrills, never realizing that when the real test arrives, excitement won't save them. Preparation will. Tomorrow's test is never about what you wish for. It's about what you've built. You can hope all day, pray all night, dream all you want, but if you haven't prepared, you're unarmed. Hope without preparation is delusion. Faith without discipline is fantasy. Dreams without action are nightmares waiting to happen. Tomorrow exposes who was serious and who was pretending. That's why it's dangerous to lie to yourself today. Because tomorrow doesn't care about your lies. It only cares about your proof. And danger, it loves unprepared people. They're easy prey. They panic quickly. They run easily. They collapse without resistance. But the prepared, they're different. They don't panic when the storm breaks because they've already built their house on rock. They don't crumble under fire because they've already walked through flames in private. They don't fold when danger rises because they've been sharpening their sword every day while no one was watching. That's the difference. Preparation isn't glamorous, but it's lethal. It makes you untouchable when tomorrow comes clawing at your door. But here's the irony. Most people waste today believing they'll have more time. I'll start tomorrow, they say. Tomorrow comes, and they say it again and again, until the day danger finally shows up and there's no more tomorrow left. They beg for another chance, another day, but time doesn't negotiate. You had your chance, and you wasted it. That's the brutal truth. Tomorrow doesn't care about your excuses. It only reveals what you did with today. So the real question isn't whether danger is coming. Of course it is. The question is whether you're using today to prepare for it. Because when tomorrow arrives, it's too late to scramble. It's too late to build, too late to learn, too late to strengthen. Tomorrow is the test. Today is the training. If you waste today, tomorrow will expose you. But if you master today, tomorrow will prove you. And that's the strange beauty of it. Tomorrow isn't your enemy, it's your judge. It doesn't decide the outcome, it only reveals it. What you feed today, you'll reap tomorrow. What you neglect today, you'll regret tomorrow. Every moment you waste now becomes a weakness in the battle ahead. Every moment you seize now becomes a weapon in your hand when danger comes. Tomorrow doesn't make you. It unmasks you. And the mask you wear will be built by everything you did or didn't do today. Fear is always the first weapon. It doesn't rush at you with claws and teeth. No, it whispers. It seeps in quietly, like smoke slipping through cracks, choking you before you even notice. Fear doesn't need to strike your body. It paralyzes your mind. And once the mind is trapped, the body follows. That's why danger never comes charging straight away. It tests you with shadows, illusions, threats that may not even be real. Because if you bow to fear, you've already lost the fight before it begins. Fear loves imagination. It paints pictures of failure, of loss, of humiliation, of pain. It convinces you that everything ahead is too big, too dangerous, too impossible. And the worst part, people believe it. They let their own mind become the cage that holds them tighter than any chain. They don't need enemies to stop them, because fear has already done the work. 1,000 battles are lost in silence before the first step is even taken. All because someone let fear write the script of their future. The brilliance of fear is that it's invisible. You can't punch it, can't grab it, can't outrun it. It's not outside. It's inside. It's your own voice, twisted against you, echoing doubts until they sound like truth. And that's why it's such a deadly weapon, because it convinces you that the fight is hopeless, that you're too small, too weak, too broken. Fear turns your strength into a lie, your vision into fog, your courage into silence. And once it has you frozen, danger doesn't even need to attack. You'll destroy yourself. But here's the secret most people never realize. Fear is a bluff. It screams loud, but it has no substance. It grows only if you feed it. It thrives only if you bow to it. The moment you face it, the moment you step forward despite it, you see how weak it really is. Fear isn't there to show you the truth. It's there to test your resolve, to see if you'll move anyway, to see if you'll act when your hands are shaking, your voice trembling, your heart racing. And if you move through fear, it collapses. It only has power when you give it power. Still, people bow to it every day. They stay in jobs they hate, in relationships that suffocate them, in routines that are killing them. All because fear tells them change is worse. They never leap because fear tells them the fall will kill them. They never speak because fear tells them their voice will be ignored. They never fight because fear tells them they'll lose. And so, they live small, quiet, wasted lives, trapped in cages that don't even exist, all because they mistook the whispers of fear for the voice of truth. Fear doesn't just stop you. It steals from you. Every dream delayed, every chance ignored, every gift buried, all because fear whispered, "Not yet," or "You're not enough." And people believe it. They let years slip away, thinking they're protecting themselves when really they're bleeding their destiny dry. Fear doesn't strike once. It eats slowly, bite by bite, until nothing remains but regret. And regret, oh, that's fear's final masterpiece. Because once you've given up enough, you realize too late that you surrendered to a lie. But here's the paradox. Fear always shows up right before breakthrough. Always. It's not a sign you're on the wrong path. It's confirmation you're on the right one. The greater the destiny, the louder the fear. It's the gatekeeper to everything valuable. It stands at the doorway, shouting, hoping to scare you back, because it knows if you push past it, what's waiting is yours. That's why the chosen are always attacked first with fear. Not to kill them, but to keep them from even stepping into the fight. Because fear knows, if they fight, they win. So when fear arrives, don't see it as proof you're weak. See it as proof you're close. Fear doesn't waste time on those going nowhere. It hunts those marked for something greater. And the only way it wins is if you let its whispers chain your feet to the ground. The irony is, fear is terrified of you. That's why it screams so loud, why it attacks so early, why it paints such terrible pictures. Because it knows what will happen if you move. If you step through, if you fight, if you refuse to bow, fear dissolves and destiny becomes real. Hope, such a fragile word. People carry it like a candle in a storm, shielding it with trembling hands, praying the wind doesn't snuff it out. And yet, that tiny flicker is the only thing that keeps them moving when everything else has collapsed. You can take a man's money, his home, his strength, even his freedom. But if he still has hope, he's dangerous. Because hope whispers of tomorrow, of possibilities unseen, of victories not yet won. It gives the broken the courage to crawl, the beaten the courage to rise, and the forgotten the courage to believe they still matter. But here's the cruel joke. Hope isn't always kind. Hope makes people wait for things that may never come. It makes them hold on to promises whispered in the dark, praying they weren't lies. It can be a lifeline, yes, but it can also be a chain. Hope without action is a prison cell painted in gold. People sit inside, dreaming of the day everything changes, yet never turning the key that's been in their hand all along. They wait for someone else to fix it, someone else to rescue them, someone else to open the door, when the truth is, no one's coming. Hope demands movement. Otherwise it rots into delusion. Still, without hope, life is unbearable. Despair is a vacuum. It eats everything alive. You see it in the eyes of those who've given up. The hollow stare, the weight in their shoulders, the silence that says they're already gone, even while they breathe. That's what makes hope so dangerous to darkness. It refuses to die, even in ruins, even in ashes, even when everything screams, quit. Hope sneaks in like a thief, whispering, maybe not yet. And that whisper is enough to light a spark. And sparks have a way of becoming fire. The strange thing about hope is that it often appears weakest when it's actually strongest. When you've got everything, hope is easy. You don't even notice it because comfort masks the need. But when you've lost it all, when the walls have caved in, when there's nothing left but rubble and silence, that's when hope, if it still survives, is pure fire. Because then it's not fed by circumstances, it's fed by choice. It's a decision to believe against reason, to trust against evidence, to rise when falling would be easier. That kind of hope is unbreakable. It makes people dangerous because nothing outside of them controls it anymore.